This is how I analyse my chess games. If you've only got about half an hour to analyse a game, this is how to do it. This is how I do it anyway. So this is a game I played last night over the board. I played 3 over the board games in the last 3 years. So I'm doing all right. 2 draws and a win. This is a win. I'm Blake. So what I did, I've literally just put this in Analyse chess, and I'm going to flick over this game just to give you an overview, and I'm going to show you what I actually do to analyse my game. I've not looked at this with an engine yet, so if I start crying, then, apologies for that. So let's have a look. So I went into the Dutch defence, just something I'm looking at learning, and my opponent, who was around about 1600, played this little move, which is a bit dubious because, in the Dutch, I want to play d6 anyway, so this is just a loss of a tempo, so that's what I thought during the game. And, here we go, and White's just lost a move for no reason, so I felt at this point, I'm quite happy with this position already. It's just a basic starting position, but already I've sort of gained a tempo, if you like. And the game went thus. I have got Simon Williams' Chessable course on about the Dutch. Well, I've only got the short and sweet version at the moment, but because I have no time, what he says in that video is if you can get in b6, bishop b7, do it, basically, and it's all that video. And I remembered that piece of advice, and that came in useful. Thank you, Simon. And if White has not gone g3, bishop g2, so in this position, I do just that, and the bishop turns out to be a monster. Thank you again, Simon Williams. So White continues developing, bishop b7, and we go into this sort of structure, which is quite all right. I still feel okay. Things are probably even, or White's slightly better because of the tempo, but pretty much even. So in this position, obviously White is targeting this pawn. So, whoops, I did not play that. Right. Well, instead, I played this move, knight to d5, because what I wanted to do is trade off this bishop and then bring my queen to this square. So if my knight got kicked, then my queen was defending this e6 pawn, and it can quickly switch over to the king side when I've defended this pawn or sorted out what I was going to do with that. White traded and played c4. So I flicked the knight back to this position. And then this move, I went, again, I think this is a little bit slow. I don't really want to bring the knight to g4 at the moment, so this is a little bit slow, and I thought a couple of slow moves should give me something coming up. And after this move, which is just a prophylactic move, getting the king out of this diagonal, probably a little bit unnecessary, I'm not sure. That's something I'll look at in the actual analysis. And after castles, knight e4, I thought I got a strong position. And after this move, I felt I got a significant advantage, or at least a pretty strong advantage. So if you want to pause the video and work out what you would do in this position, it might not be the best move. It's the move I played, and because I've not looked at the engine yet, like I told you. So pause the video if you want to. I'm going to carry on. So in this position, I thought I would get a sizable advantage by taking this knight, because after knight takes, I play queen g5 with an obvious mate threat on g2, and Black has not done anything wrong. It's just traded a knight, set up an attack, and White now must weaken his kingside position, right? And what I felt that if he went the other way around and took with the queen, then I just whack this knight off and open up the king position. And, well, either this move or this move, whatever, going to get another strong kingside attack. So I felt that was the best move in the position. We'll check soon with the engine in a little while. We'll find out. And after this, it induces a pawn weakness. This bishop is a monster. Thank you again, 3 times Simon Williams for the mention in the video. And I continue the attack basically on the king side. So I play, what do you play in this position? I just play this move because I'm to target this pawn. And then I prepare for the rook lift. Right, simple chess, not doing anything extra special. I found that move, which I thought were pretty good, but the attack sort of plays itself because White's played 2 slow moves, basically. So after this move, rook lift, and then we try e4, threatening mate on this position. And I bring the knight to f6. Now, I'm not sure whether this is the best move, but I'll come back to that. In this position, I am now just threatening. So g5, I play in this position. I'm going to come back to this. I think maybe I could have swapped those 2 moves around. I wasn't sure. We'll come back to that in a minute. And so after bishop, I just drop the queen back. In exchange there. Oh, actually, let me just show you something. So in this position, I'm threatening a queen sack, king takes, checkmate. So White correctly closes down the diagonal. Forgot to mention that. And let's get back to the position. G5, bishop to E2, drop the queen back, keep the tension in the position. I'm threatening simply to take here. Pawn takes, knight comes into the position. I think that's a mistake, but it's an understandable mistake because white's under pressure and spending a lot of time trying to defend. And after an exchange of pawns, I play this move and white resigns because obviously if takes, we've got checkmate in this position, and if the king drops back, then we have checkmate thanks to the fabulous bishop. So that's my game. I'll quickly run through that game myself. That took sort of 10 minutes. Now what I'm going to do is start analysing it. So I'm going to pick out a couple of relevant points for myself to analyse this position. Points where I went, oh, is this the right move? Oh, I'm not sure about this. So I identified those 3 points, and they are these. So nothing from here. What did I identify? So instead of this move, no, not that one. That's the one that I did by accident. Let me delete that. So yeah, so basically the process is I flick through until I feel like, ooh, was this the right move or not? So in this position, I played king h8. Now, could I have got away with knight e4? And this is what I was looking at in the game because, and then I quickly go through the analysis. And then, because if bishop takes, for example, knight can't take because pawn takes, wins one of the pieces. And can white allow this sort of knight on this square when this other knight's coming to this square? I'm not sure. But if captures with the bishop, then great, I've got the bishop. I would take here with the pawn. And this just looks fantastic for black. So, you know, with the queen joining in an attack either here or here, something like that. And we've got a kingside attack with white king looking a bit awkward. Probably has to go queenside, I don't know. So I'm basically going to question whether I played the right move in king h8 or should I have played knight e4. So I'm looking the engine on in a bit. But the other areas I'm interested in are, I think this is the best move. But the other areas are this move coming up. This move. I wondered whether I could just play this move. Then what I think maybe white's best try was trying to get the king, you know, out of danger like this. So maybe white could have played this and after takes, dropping the king back. And then I flicked over the analysis, but I felt maybe bringing the other rook in the game. White carries on his plan. And something like this, still prefer black. It doesn't look like it's immediate checkmate. The engine might prove me wrong. But my idea here is just to increase the position, you know, bring the other knight into the game. But obviously I've got to calculate this, these sorts of moves. But you can't play that immediately because if he does that, obviously then this bishop just wins the rook. So this is this bishop again. So maybe white does something like this. So basically I play around with that position. And what I'm asking myself is, did I play the right move in knight f6? Or should I play g5? And I'm going to find out when I put the engine on. The engine might say something else. And whatever is absolutely fine. Whether I was right, whether my analysis was right, or whether it throws up something else, it's win-win-win, right? So I'm going to choose one more position because I think, we were talking about this during the game, my opponent played this move, but we were talking about whether this move's best, bishop f3, just, you know, so trying to compete with this bishop. And I actually thought, well, what about just sacking the bishop? He's playing this move, and after takes for check, I get an attack on the king. Now, I looked at this just briefly. So how to continue the attack. I looked at this move, but there's a bit of an escape. And then I looked at these sorts of lines in a brief analysis I've just done 2 minutes before this video. That sort of thing, is that the best way forward? I don't know, maybe not. What about just taking here? And surely there has to be something actually in this position. Obviously we're under attack, but maybe we could bring either book or something like that. Like this, and we can at least bring this rook check. What would white do? Something like this. And the attack go on. And then what I'm doing is trying to find the best move in this position. Maybe that wasn't the right idea. But basically what I'm doing is I'm identifying points of analysis between what I actually played and points where I think, actually, what would I have done in this case? And would I have gone into that line, sacking the bishop? Probably, because there should be something here, and I'll play around with that. So time to look at the engine. I've not looked at the engine at all yet, so let's just see what the engine does. And normally when I look at the engine and when we look at the engine, we just feel stupid, right? But, obviously we're not playing at 3,500 level or whatever the lead chess engine is. Probably not as strong as that. I don't know. But let's have a look what it says. So first point in this position, what is the best move? I played this. I'm interested in whether knight e4 was the best move. Let's have a look what the wise old silicon thing says. In this position, I played this move. Oh, top two moves. Right, I have not staged this, honestly. Minus 0.8, both knight e4 and king h8. So that's great, fantastic. Pat myself on the back. Both those moves are good. But any other moves? a5, gaining space on the queen side. I did slightly think about a5, but I prefer activities on the king side. So yeah, okay, doing all right there. Am I learning anything from that? Not really. Both those lines are what I considered. But after knight e4, white obviously can't take and go into that line. It just continues with the game. Rook d1, and we just get a good piece in that square. And the rook lift is suggested, but also knight f6 looks good, obviously. So happy with that. So turn off the engine. Let's just see how far behind white actually lost with that early move. This move. Because it loses a tempo. So let's have a look at what the computer says about this move. Bishop e2, continue and developing. Bishop d3, continue and developing. Yeah, this move automatically puts black as the white player. Right, because after d6, black's slightly better, minus 0.01. It's even at least. At least black's even. So castles or d6. I prefer to castle first. And after this move, d6, just kicking the knight. And black is slightly better now at minus 0.3, which I did feel in the game that would be the case. Maybe a bit surprised. I thought maybe it would be a little bit more for black. But, you are starting off at the one move behind. So let's have a look at the other position, which I was interested in, and those checkmating ideas. So not this one. So in this position, I played this move. I think maybe I should just play g5 straight away. So let's have a look what the computer prefers. Maybe they prefer something else, and I've missed something completely. g5 immediately, -3, yeah, that is the best move. Followed by f4. Yeah, just opening up the position. I did feel that was a better move. And sometimes my moves just a little bit slow. You are in a race of time. g5 straight away is the best move, which I did feel. And queen d1. Now there is no immediate sack. I tried that before, but it doesn't quite work in this position. But what does the computer like? Dropping the queen back to f7 makes sense. Keeping the queens on, or g6. I'd have played g6. Then you are in the line of this bishop. I don't know, but g5. Let's go. Let's just do bishop, queen f7, and something like this. But then we're going to open here, no? Well, you can do. There's no rush for that, I suppose. f4, g takes, and then we just open things up immediately. And white's not got time to organise a better defence than that. So yeah, that was the better way forward. But I spotted that in the analysis, so that's good. But learn to play that in the game, be a little bit more enthusiastic. Now this does allow, I think, the bishop f3 defence, because it's a little bit slow. Black's still better, obviously. Whole piece ahead, but whole piece or whole pawn ahead. But after this move, what's white's best reply? He takes f5. And this sort of prevents g5 anyway. We have to take, probably. We'll play queen g5, because there's no g5. Because if we try g5, then obviously we have this move. So that is where we had to play g5 first. It was a case, the fact that the knight coming to f6 is a little bit slow, but also there is this nice move, just taking the pawn, and there is no g5. So get g5 in while you can. Hurry up with g5. There's a lesson learned there, definitely. Did not see that move taken, because I just felt it's open up this diagonal. So let's have a look at the best defense. Let's go back to the actual game and what we think was the best defense. And can you sack the bishop? That's the question. So in this position, This move, not so great. That just wins for black, basically. Next move. The computer doesn't like anything because black's just simply better. But f3, d5, blocking down the bishop. That must look sensible. Yeah, d5 is the best move. Just play d5, block out this bishop. But after this move, then, yeah, we're just going to take. And we have to try and do this. This makes sense because what we're doing is the black pawn is obviously you can't be taken by the black piece. So black is not able to advance on that H file as quickly as he would like to. And white's using black's pawn as a sort of defensive feature. So that makes sense. Yeah, okay, but black has still got the better game. We just take here and we're still absolutely better. The other rooks can come into the game as well. So that was the way forward. So does not like bishop f3. And I'm wondering whether because we can just sack the piece. So this move, bishop f3. Can we just sack it? We can just sack the piece. Fantastic. You can take, because if we take, we've got this move. And what is the best way forward? I think any of those lines. I looked at this move. And yeah, both moves that I looked at, this is actually better. But this move's also pretty good. This is a killing attack for black, I thought. So there must be a mate down the line somewhere. Let's have a look in this position. Rook h2, did I say rook h2? Yeah, good. Let's have a look at my line. Coming away. f4. Okay, so f4 was the better line. And we just win the queen. Look at that. Of course. Yeah, so in this line, absolutely could not take this bishop. So the bishop, I was correct that this was an attack, but we could just carry on. This is fine as well, but obviously this is great. King has to take back. This is forced here. And we just win the queen. And white resigns and we go and get a few beers. All right, so that's basically, if I've only got half an hour to analyse a game, that's what I would do. I would try and spend a bit longer. I would try and sort of tease those openings a little bit better, and the mate and attack, I would spend a little bit more time. But who's got time these days? I don't know. So from those things, I have picked up a couple of points of interest from my game last night. There's the G5 early idea that I need to sort of be a little bit quicker, and there's the mate and attack, winning the queen. Right,